Hey guys, welcome back. It's time to start working on some color for our fictional German tiger Patton tank from the TV show The Rat Patrol and as seen in the movie Patton. Now, tanks of the Afrika Korps were a sandy yellowish type color. The ones in these two shows, movie and a show, were a little bit more on the yellower side. Now, personally, I wasn't in the Afrika Korps. I wasn't around that time, so I can't really verify that was actually the correct color or not. But to my eye, from the pictures I've seen, I think these tanks, these Pattons, were a little bit more yellowish. So, again, because I'm trying to make a replica of the movie tank and not a real tiger, I'm trying to make this as close as possible. So I'm going to try to do that the same with the colors. As correct to history or not, it doesn't matter. We just want it to look the part as seen on the screen. To do that, we're taking these two craft acrylic colors from Folk Art. We're using medium yellow and camel. And we're going to mix them together to get our color. The color was almost 2 to 1, 3 to, more like 3 to 1. Bits of 3 parts camel with 1 part yellow. And we mix that up, put in a little bit of windshield washer fluid to make it flow, and began to spray. We just did a 1 coat for right now to get a base on everything. Not all the parts are ready, so as you can see here, we have all our wheels all down and the back sides all painted. Okay, the edges I didn't do because while the American tanks, this Patton, as far as I know, didn't have road wheels. At least they don't look like it on here. If you were to look at it, it doesn't look like it has a road wheel on it. What I'm going to do is the German tanks did. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the edges black to make them look like road wheels. But anyway, this is just a rough coat of the back sides of these parts. We began to put a little bit of color on the tank itself. It's kind of hard to tell in here. It looks very, very tan on the camera, but in real life it does have a yellowish tint to it. If I need to go, when I wake up in the morning and decide it's not the right color, I can always add a little bit more yellow to it, or in fact, add a little bit more camel, make it a little bit more tan. But it's going to take a couple coats to do this because don't forget we're going over a dark gray with a lighter color, so it's going to take a little bit of time to get to where we want to be. So it's going to be several light coats. The top of the hull was also done. Again, it's not perfect yet, but it's okay. It's a start. I'm happy with it. And we have some other miscellaneous parts that were done. One part that wasn't done yet, just because I didn't get this done, was the turret itself. Still has to be painted gray first. We'll get to that. But I want to put the rails on the side here first, and then we'll paint it all together. Bits and bobs here. Okay, for the suspension are all there. The hubs for the center of all the wheels, they're there. The headlights. Okay, again, all just a base coat. So we'll let this dry really well, let it set in, and then we'll come back and we'll do some more later. Okay, hang on, we'll be right back. Alright, so we're back. We're doing round 2 of the painting on our German Patton tank. If you recall, last time we took our 2 colors, which was camel and medium yellow. We mixed them together at I believe it was 2 to 1 ratio. Maybe 3 to 1, I can't remember now. Gotta go back to the video. Anyway, we did the mix and got it all prepped, and we spray painted everything the combination of the colors, and we let it dry for a couple days. Now we're back again, and we've got to put another coat. And again, it's going to take a couple coats because we're taking a lighter color of paint and we're putting it over the dark homemade, the dark Panzer gray that I made up. Okay, so it's going to take a little while. It's going to take a couple coats to get it on there. So on this round, what I did is when I mixed my two paint colors together, I did it more, it's not really 50-50, but a little bit less camel, more yellow. And the idea behind that is, as I'm spraying it, I got a good base coat of the original color. Now this is going to go on, and what's going to happen is it's probably not going to get in every single nook and cranny on the tank, especially when you talk about a piece like this. It's very difficult to get in all the nooks and crannies. But that slight little deviation in color, I'm hoping, will add depth to the tank and shadows and so forth like that. Not to mention the fact that these tanks were built, in any tank, even the real tank, they were built, they were painted, they were out on maneuvers and so forth, they were transported, things got chipped, nicked, dinged, whatever, and they would end up having to repaint them again. They didn't always have the exact same color. Even if the bottle says, for example, olive drab, and the tank is painted olive drab, doesn't mean that it's going to be the exact same color. So I made the change in the mixing of the paint, painted it over, gave it a little bit more of a yellow of a hue, but I'm happy with it still. I'm not disappointed yet, and we let it go. We did our road wheels too. Did a lot of work on the road wheels, and there's a lot of shadowing in here. The color isn't perfect. The sides, the edges and stuff like that aren't completely covered, but that is okay because we still have to weather. And if anything on this tank isn't going to be 100% covered in paint, it's going to be the road wheels. So I'm happy with the way they turned out too. The lack of a full coat of paint will add to the weathering effect and the overall appearance of the road wheels later. So that's where we are with that. As you can see here, we got our turret done, we got the grip rails done, and it's looking pretty good. So we're going to let this all sit. So we got the top of the tank here, we got the main body of the hull there, we got all the road wheels over there, and over on this side over here, this side, there's more individual parts and grab handles and hatches and stuff like that are there. We got the cannon here. I ended up having to drill out the front because it's really funny. Oof. Really funny because the side of it was drilled out from the manufacturer, which is great, but the front piece head-on was not, so I had to drill that out. Simple, but just silly that it wasn't done to begin with. So that's where we are. Got our center hubs, they're all painted up, sufficiently shadowed. So we're going to give this some time to dry, and then we're going to give it a coat of Future, seal all this stuff in, and then it'll be on to doing some more assemblies and start some weathering and all that happy stuff. So be right back. So I gotta tell you guys, I'm really having fun with this kit. It's really funny how the kit that you don't expect to be a good kit turns out to be a really good kit. A couple years ago, I was doing the 54 Ford custom kit for the box stock community build, and I really didn't give the kit a lot of thought or had much expectation for the kit when I had first seen it. Matter of fact, I overlooked it many times, and then for whatever reason I picked it up for that build, and it turned out to be the best car kit that I'd ever built. Now, I don't mean the best car that I have built in the way it was the best finish or anything like that. I mean the engineering of the car was fantastic. It went together really well. It wasn't overcomplicated. It wasn't oversimplified. Everything fit. It was just a really, really enjoyable build. And I haven't had a kit like that since then. So that's been almost 2 years. I mean, the other kits I've had have been good. It just didn't have that wow factor to me. And that car, I did not expect to have any wow factor. This kit is the same. I did not expect this kit to be as fun as it is. Now, I still got a ways to go, don't get me wrong, but right now I am having fun with this kit. I really enjoy it. And if things work out, you know, I could see myself doing another tank sooner rather than later. I have a Stewart that I want to do and stuff, but that's neither here nor there. The question I have for you tank builders, what I find most tedious about a tank so far is the wheels. These wheels, they're monotonous. There are a lot of them. My question is, how do you guys do it? What's the way that you find to do your wheels that isn't so monotonous? What I did for mine is I took the wheels and at first, you know, I put them all on these sticks, as you see. Some of you call them cocktail sticks. We call them here in the States toothpicks. First I had them and I sprayed the back sides the color of the tank. In this case, it's going to be a derivative of a sand color, okay, because we're building something from the Africa Corps. So did the backs, let it dry, flipped them over, did the fronts, let it dry. Now the edges were very difficult to spray, and you didn't have to because in this case they're being painted, as you can see. But aside from when this was dried and I coated it with clear gloss to protect them, aside from taking this wheel and painting the edges by hand, what I did, I thought was pretty ingenious for someone of my my skills. I took my paint. In this case, I used the Craft Black paint, and I spread it out on my board here. Okay, and then basically all I did was I took my wheels and I put it in the paint and I rolled it across, back and forth, once, twice, whatever, until it got a coating. And it was that simple. I mean, it took that long per wheel, and I was done. Well, for that part. By the time I went from this end, down my rows and did all my wheels to here, this was dry, and I was able to go back, and what I had to do, if you look here, then I had to do that edge, okay? And that I ended up having to do by hand under the magnifying glass, but really that was simple to do. It really wasn't that bad. Next I'll go and I'll well, eventually these will get a dull coat. Right now they're shiny. I'll do the weathering to them and stuff like that, but then I'll get a dull coat over top of all of it. But I think they look pretty good. Not bad for my first time. They were done quickly, relatively quickly, and I'm just curious to see how you guys do your wheels, because what armor builders I've been watching now that I'm gotten an interest in armor, you know, people are just saying, hey, I did this, I did that, and they show the wheels are on, and I haven't come across anybody that actually showed a good way to paint them. So I'd be very curious how you guys, with the armor experience, paint your road wheels. So anyway, guys, until next time, be strong.